Nigel Farage has been tracking the arrival to the UK of the illegal Afghan TikToker known only as Madapasa. He's the bloke with a Kalashnikov tattooed on his face, who is wanted for crimes in Sweden and intended to arrive in the UK via France and Germany.
On his face, a tattoo that looks like a Kalashnikov. I would suggest to you that's a pretty aggressive symbol, not the kind of tattoo that most people get. Now you'll notice that the flag at the top of this social media clip that he's posted has France, where he is now, and there's a Union Jack. That tells you where he wants to get to. So they're in a camp in northern France, partying like crazy, in very high spirits. And basically this is going out on social media. He's telling the world he's about to attempt an illegal crossing of the English Channel, and it's party time.
Well, breaking right now, Madapasa claims he is in the UK. Right now, this is a picture geotagged that he posted on his TikTok account. The Home Office, though, refused to confirm if that is the case. But Madapasa has made a direct and criminal threat about the Reform UK leader Farage.
I come to England because I want to marry with your sister. Don't talk about me more. Delete a video. This is not good, my friend. You not know me. I gonna come to England. I gonna mother pasa, man. You know, this is mother pasa. Every country know me. Vamaya mother pasa. I'm TikToker. I'm not gang. I'm not mafia. I'm mafia's papa.
Now, having watched that disturbing video, Nigel posted on X, "This illegal migrant has made a threat on my life and is now in the UK. He is the kind of person we are letting into our country." And this afternoon, Reform UK's Chief Whip, Lee Anderson, appeared on GB News to confirm Nigel is now seriously concerned about his safety as a result of this shocking threat.
Clearly, Martin, one disturbed individual, this creature is. I've seen some of the TikTok videos he's been making. Is basically he's taking the mick. He's laughing at us. It wouldn't surprise me actually, Martin, if he was in this country right now. I suppose we'll find out towards the end of the day where this bloke is. But it's very scary. I speak to Nigel nearly every day, as you're probably aware. He is genuinely concerned for his safety. You've seen the security he has to have around him. You know what sort of country we're living in, Martin.
And of course that is shocking, but there is a much bigger question at play here. Because our ludicrous decision to stay in the ECHR means that if Madapasa is here, no matter what crime he commits, the government is unable to deport him back to Afghanistan.
This is what happens, Marty, when you've had successive weak governments who are not prepared to protect our borders and put the safety of British people first. This creature, once he lands on our shores, he should be quickly arrested and deported the same day. And you know what? If he gets these lefty lawyers involved, if he gets his, claims human rights or anything like this, so what? Get rid of this creature. I do not want him in this country, and neither does the vast majority of decent British citizens.
And yet, on Nigel's show last night, I had a conversation, an argument with the human rights lawyer who said, no, what we've got to do is get this guy to Britain and incarcerate him. He's our concern. Why should taxpayers like you or I, any of your constituents, foot the prison bill for this bloke?
He should be on the first flight out of here to Afghanistan and take that lefty lawyer with him, mate. This is part of the problem. They're making absolute fortunes, loads of money out of these people coming over here.
Now, this story should be leading the MSM, but of course, unless migrants are dying in tragic accidents, they tend to ignore the invasion of the Channel. We know Labour wants to pretend it's not going on altogether. I mean, as Nigel puts it, instead they are quietly giving out 6-year contracts worth £521 million for processing centres because Starmer has no intention of stopping the boats. But what is the MSM focused on? Well, James O'Brien. He continues to have meltdowns, including this morning, over Boris, Brexit, and you guessed it, Nigel.
He can't turn around and say, it'd be like Profumo, squared. He can't turn around and accept the disgrace that he deserves any more than Nigel Farage can. They soiled the national bed. And Wes Streeting says we all have to lie in it.
Serious question. Is that red-faced dude okay? Is there some sort of breakdown going on? Because maybe it's time for LBC to stage an intervention. But actually, the most hilarious MSM moment today, Sly News. You're not going to believe this. They set out to investigate the so-called far right in the UK that sparked the so-called riots after the Southport massacre. But guess what? They discovered it was actually all whipped up by foreign agitators.
More brilliant work by you and the team, this time looking online about who was responsible for stirring up hatred with the riots in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. We want to take a deep dive and look at especially Telegram, the messaging app where a lot of these riots were sort of talked about and organised. I think what we were really surprised by is how many of these were not from the UK. So we looked at more than sort of 10,000 groups, went through all these messages. And it turns out the majority of these were not coming from the UK. They were abroad, effectively what you might call foreign interference.
So no wonder, in the midst of this madness, Reform UK's poll ratings continue to climb by the day. Now it's time for the Uncancelled Interview. And I'm delighted today to be joined by Gawain Towler. He is a legend in Brexit circles, having worked for UKIP, the Brexit Party, and most recently Reform UK. Indeed, up until just a few weeks ago, Gawain was the closest advisor to Nigel Farage. So Gawain, it's great to have you on Outspoken for the first time today. And we've got so much to talk about, I guess, in terms of the broader strategy for Reform UK and Nigel. But can I ask you first about this shocking breaking news, this threat from the illegal Madder passer, which the authorities don't seem to be taking all that seriously. They won't even say whether this guy is in the UK. But do you agree with Lee Anderson that Nigel's safety is at risk here?
Clearly, it's at risk. Clearly. I mean, how can it not be? You've got some chap who looks delightful. Is the sort of person you normally see popping up in the sort of Mexican videos of coffee, people who are now being rescued from prison to make coffee and all the rest of it, tattoos all over, and that sort of threatening view. But of course it's concerning. Anybody, whoever they are, who has a direct threat like that is going to be concerned. But I don't think their Home Office are withholding information. I don't think they've got the first idea.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they've got the first idea.
But that's the issue, right? That's the issue. They've got no idea if he's here.
Some of the people, we get these numbers of people arriving by boat. But I do not believe that every boat that lands on our shores is registered and recognised. Absolutely not. So I have no idea if the fellow's in the country. He claims to be in the country. But I think it's notable that his videos of himself in Sweden or in France, I think, have him. The videos supposedly in Bournemouth, I believe, don't have him. If I was him and I was videoing, and he seems to be, I don't think the most self-aware man in the world, I would have thought he'd been showing off his TikTok prowess. The fact that Disney said everybody knows who he is. Well, yes, Madapasa, everybody knows who he is. And I hope to goodness every law enforcement agency across Europe knows exactly who you are, mate.
But first, it is the best time of year, guys and girls. Football is back. So we're talking Premier League in the UK and the US, NFL Sundays and college football Saturdays. And with that comes the glorious grind of fantasy football lineups. You know, it's where your inner manager comes alive. I'm usually quite terrible at setting the perfect roster, but it's always good fun. But what I have to say is that while you're over here making sure your fantasy team is dialed in, don't let your personal grooming become the guy that gets left on the bench. Because let's be honest, no one wants to fumble their grooming routine. So that's where Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra comes in, acting as your all-in-one grooming playbook. From keeping things sharp down below with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to taking care of those rogue ear and nose hairs with the Weed Whacker 2.0, This is the lineup that will keep you looking and feeling like a champ on and off the field. It will help you feel clean, confident, and ready to dominate your fantasy league. So, let me tell you about these incredible products. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Groin and Body Hair Trimmer is the franchise player of your grooming roster. With precise trimming capabilities, it's reliable, efficient, and gets the job done without fumbling. Whether it's for date night, a weekend tailgate, or just everyday grooming, this is the tool you want on your squad. And then no one wants a surprise ear or nose hair making a guest appearance on game day. So the Weed Whacker 2.0 handles those details like a pro, keeping you neat and ready to go. No missed tackles in your grooming game. The Performance Package 5.0, though, comes with 2 free gifts today. This is so exciting. The Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo and the Shed 2.0 Toiletry Bag, premium gear to ensure you're always ready for action, whether at home or on the road. So join the 10 million men worldwide, including me, who trust Manscaped, and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. Use the coupon code Outspoken. You just have to use the code Outspoken and you'll get 20% off and free shipping. Trust me, you'll be drafting the real MVP of grooming this season. So let me repeat it, www.manscaped.com. Use the code Outspoken when you check out for 20% off and free shipping. Stay on top of your grooming game and be ready for anything the season throws your way.
Maybe he can have some touch-up makeup to cover up the AK-47 attached to his face. But that's pretty... I mean, even a kebab shop owner is going to recognise it and probably dob him into the police. I bloody well hope so. But no, of course you're going to be concerned. And it's not that Nigel hasn't had death threats before. It's not that Nigel doesn't have continual threat. His threat level is high. That is like, I mean, what are we commemorating these last day or two? The death of David Amos.
Yep. 3 years today.
And
3 years today since he was shot.
This is not. It is a horrific echo of what happened to Sir David, and of course you're going to be concerned. But Nigel's been under death threats for years. This does not stop him doing what he believes is right, does not stop him speaking out in the way he feels is correct, and it does not stop him leading from the front. It does not stop him highlighting these people. Now, whether we need Nigel Farage to highlight every single illegal migrant that turns up in this country, it seems to be the most effective way in getting the authorities to notice them. But that's an awfully big job for one man to do. So obviously he can't, but at the same time, it was Farage a few years ago who first brought the issue of these boats to the public domain. It was his work, his efforts to get down there to the coast, to go into the channel, to film them coming across. In one case, to actually rescue people from the drink himself. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it, and he has the gumption and he has the resolve in a way that very few modern politicians do. But that does come with its threats.
Gawain, you've obviously been by Nigel's side for a long time. Have you seen the threat level change as the world has changed? I mean, for example,
this is different. This is different. Normally, the threat comes from our own homegrown loons, the Antifa types, the radical Greens, and things of this sort. And frankly, that most of them in this country are not particularly scary. But in recent months, yes, that threat has got more serious. And I think it's coming from different groups of people. I mean, yes, it's no fun having a milkshake chucked at you. You never know what's in it. A bit of cement chucked at you during the campaign. I wouldn't be at all surprised that someday I walk out of where I live and work and I get a face full of orange paint. Yeah, that's no fun. But these guys are of a different measure. We have many people who have crossed the border who have committed serious crimes. I mean, do you remember the poor kid in Bournemouth who was murdered?
Yes, Thomas Roberts.
And the fellow who murdered him was already being charged and convicted in the Balkans for murdering a couple of people with, guess what, a Kalashnikov. These people are amongst us, and their ways are different from our ways. And so whilst one can face down, and there was a horrible business a good few years ago now where Nigel was having a Sunday lunch with his family and he was chased out of the pub by some Looney Tunes. Yes, that was scary, but that was very different to what's going on now.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.